Is the narcissist a racist? Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and in this video, I want to address narcissist and racism. Now, something characteristic of all narcissists is a lack of empathy and a grandiose feeling of entitlement and superiority over others. So people who are racist share these traits with narcissists. The racist views those of other ethnicities as less than they are, and they have little to no empathy for those outside of their own race. Or they may simply target a specific race of people that they view as less than they are or not as worthy. So it's really easy to see how narcissists can also be racist. Now, someone who is racist certainly has some narcissistic traits, though they may not be a full-on narcissist. However, based on my own research and personal experience, I believe the majority of narcissists are also racist. My ex-narc had a very strong belief in the existence of past lives. He believed we'd all been male and female in our past lives, and that we've all experienced life as other ethnicities, different races, different cultures, etc. So, of course, when I first met him, if someone had told me he was a racist, I would not have believed them. He showed absolutely no signs of racism in the beginning. But of course, at that time, I was in the love bombing stage. After all, if you have a belief in past lives, and therefore you believe at some time in those past lives you have been another race, you have had a different skin color, and that you spoke a different language, how in the world could you possibly be a racist? That just wouldn't make sense logically. But logic and reason have nothing to do with how the narcissist brain operates. So I was very surprised and disheartened when my ex-narc started throwing out racial slurs as well as sexist remarks. And so when I confronted him on him referencing black people by using the N-word and calling out the hypocrisy of what he preached versus what he said in private, the first words out of his mouth were this: "I have a lot of black friends." Does that sound familiar? And in his case, this was not true at all. In the 7 years that I was with him, not once did I ever meet any friend of his that was black or Hispanic or Asian or anything other than Caucasian. Not once, never. The only people who ever came into our home that were anything other than white were people that I knew are friends of my children. In fact, in a video I posted months ago entitled Narcissistic Rage Caught on Video, where he is raging at my daughter, part of the reason that that clip is so short is because I didn't want to post the parts of that video where he was calling my daughter's boyfriend, who was of Mexican descent, a wetback, and screaming about how he should be shipped back to Mexico. Now, it didn't matter that her boyfriend was born in California and therefore a citizen. And it didn't matter that his parents had come into this country legally and were both hardworking, contributing members of society. His prejudice could not see past my daughter's boyfriend's skin color, and he spouted off all the false stereotypes associated with someone being Mexican. The rage he expressed towards my daughter was prompted by the fact that she had called him out over a text that he sent her in the middle of the night, despite my pleading and begging for him not to. And in that text, he had referenced her boyfriend as a, quote, "piece of shit, worthless wetback." If you want to check out that video, I have dropped the link in the description box. Racism stems from ignorance. And researchers have found that people with certain personality disorders, like narcissism, are much more likely to have racist attitudes. Narcissistic traits, such as lack of empathy and callousness, are predictive of prejudicial tendencies. So narcissists have an increased tendency towards devaluing others that are outside of their own race. Narcissists focus on their own needs while neglecting the needs of others, so they detest things like affirmative action unless they are of the race that benefits from programs such as this. They're more likely to scapegoat minority groups as being the cause of society's problems. They're more likely to blame the victim of police brutality, for example, if that victim is of a minority race, and they'll seek to find a justification for whatever it was that happened to that victim so that they can view the situation as being caused by the victim's own crimes. Therefore, they can see the victim being at fault and then only having themselves to blame for whatever it was that happened to them. And this should sound familiar if you've ever been entangled with a narcissist. The narcissist blames you for the abuse they inflict upon you. It's your fault. You caused it. You're to blame. You brought it upon yourself. And this is the same way they view minorities who are victims of crime. And they're going to blame them for whatever happens to them. They must have caused it. They brought it upon themselves. They deserved what they got. There's no empathy. There's no compassion, and there's certainly no understanding. Racism does stem from ignorance, and the narcissist is an ignorant individual. It is the height of stupidity that makes anyone believe they are better than others simply because they have a different skin color. After all, we are all of the same race, the human race. So let me know in the comments, was the narcissist in your life a racist? Let's talk about it. I'm interested in hearing your opinions on this. Thank you all so much for listening, and may you have a blessed day.